Okay, so it's a bit of a new thing this. We're going to do this probably every week if I can. Obviously shows and commissions tend to throw everything out the window, as you know. But I'm going to try and do this every week, and that way it's a good way to interact and all the rest of it. A few things going on the forum at the moment. We're sort of discussing various bits and pieces, usual things. One that cropped up which really made me think was about old kits, how we used to build them as kids and think they were great, and why are they still available? You know, it springs to mind, the one that I mentioned was the Rebel 172 Lancaster, which has got to be, oh no, in the 70s now. Why would anybody build it when you can buy the Academy one for the same price? You know, it's a bit like, would you go out and buy an old car to drive it around? If you're into old kits and putting them together, then absolutely fantastic. But why they try and sell them now is beyond me. So there's quite a debate going in the forum on about that, which is quite a nice one. What I've said before is that anyone in the forum post up questions and I'll do them now. As in, I've been asked, why do I keep three different types of paint? Why don't I just stick with one? Okay, good question from Mark. Basically, I do like the Valeros because you squirt them in the paint cup and away you go. You just blast away with them. Fantastic. Trouble is, a couple of the colours they don't do. It's as simple as that. One that springs to mind is light gold grey. You can't actually get it in Valero. A lot of the European aircraft colours, such as the colours for the Draken, they don't do it. But they do it in things like guns, or you might be able to find things in Tamiya. So that's why I use different colour paints and different things. The ones I haven't got up here, which I've also got a set of, is the extra acrylics as well. Now that's great for basically UK and US sort of modern stuff because you get all the bits and pieces in there. And if anybody's listening who actually does acrylic Warsaw packed, especially flankers, MiG-29 colours, can we have them in the UK please, because they're so hard to find. That's about it. Right, the other thing also asked was about doing the green tint on Phantoms. This is Hans's question. So, just so happens, one that I did a long time ago was this Phantom. The clear green part that goes in, and obviously this is where the glass is laminated together, and obviously when you look at it from different angles you get blues and greens and things like that. So how do I actually do it? Well, one, you should have seen the other videos because on one of them I do talk about doing it, and I put actually green paint on. So the way I actually do it is to get a little bit of green paint thinned, and literally I balance it out. I think it's actual A10 build that I do this on, and you balance it out and put the green on, and then that way it will lay flat, and then you can go along and put little bits of blue clear into it as well, and you get that greeny blue type look. So you just thin it down and put it on. So what I'm going to do, I'll set it all up and I'll show you how to do it. Right, here we go then. So obviously we're talking about this centre panel here, as we were saying, that's laminated. Okay, first thing to do, you want this to be balanced flat, because at the moment obviously it's leaning down. If we put anything on here, it's just going to run to the bottom and it might run off and everything else. Now, excuse the state of the model, this is just happened to be a Phantom that I did years and years ago, and I've kept it. So what we get to do is basically somehow is get this up so it's all flat. So you want to find something, let's use a, where it is flat. Let's try about there. No, we need even a bit more. Try another sponge. There we go. That's flattish. Okay. Then obviously we're talking about this area here, and obviously we've got a bit of glare there. Let's just move the camera, that's it. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to use here a little bit of X25 and a bit of X23, just like that, in the clear range with some Tamiya clear. So if I just bring you out a bit, I can show you a mix. Okay, get another bottle, upturned. We'll start with green, and all we're going to do is take a little drop of thinners, okay, just in the top there, just like that, and then we're going to take a drop of green and put it in the thinners and just give it a swish around just like that, and this will give us our nice green hue to it. Okay, so it goes on like that, and then we bring you in. Alright, and all we do is literally we're just going to run it over the entire of the glass. Okay, now obviously depending on how much you put on will be dependent on how thick this gets. So there we go, that will give you your green hue, which you might be able to picking up in the camera just like that. Now obviously this is acrylic, so it's not going to take long to dry. And then what you can do, if you get a bit of the blue, alright, if we just bring you out, and all we do, put a little bit on the brush into this clear mix we've got on the go down here. Okay, in with the blue. So we've mixed the blue and the green, okay, and then we're just going to come along and we're just going to dab it all around in here, into the colour. Now hopefully it will nicely mix the two, but you will get different shades of it. Now it's a good job to look down from different angles to make sure you've got it all covered, because when it dries, if you haven't covered the entire thing, you get a weird type of effect. So there we go, there's that hue I hope you can see, which gives you that thing. And obviously you've got an awful heads-up display in the back there, which is obviously, it's all kit part. I'm honest, I did this a long time ago and I didn't know, honest sir. So there we go, that's that. Dead simple, very easy to do, and hopefully it'll be the case that when you move your eye around and that, you can see you know, actually how it goes. So what I'll do is I'll let it dry off, I'll take a photo of it and show you now. Okay then, so if I give you a bit of a grand tour of actually what I've got, as you say, paint rack here. We start up here, we've got alclads, and basically I've just got chromes, magnesiums, steels. I've got a couple of the hot metals up there, and things like that. Don't really go much on the burnt metal pale or the jet exhaust. To me, not really a brilliant colour, but they are nice. And then I've got the gloss black, which obviously you can use an acrylic black, and I've also got the airbrush cleaner itself. Down below we've got Valeros, various colours. Basically, as I've been going through time, I've been collecting the set, as you can imagine. So going right the way through, a couple of nice ones here at the end, like the fluorescents, great fluorescent colours. Very handy, you say, squirt and go. Down below we've got some of the more weirder, the Tamiya colours at this end. I've got some of the nice Citadel paints, which are really fantastic for doing metal colours. Really on a par with alclads, they give a fantastic finish, do like them. Guns, I've got some here, I've got another box below to put some up to fill up that rack. Guns range, as I say, a bit of a debate going on if they're going to stay or they're going to go, they're going to be replaced. I quite like them though, they're tougher than certainly the Valero paints, but they're tricky to get hold of. But pound for pound, from the cost point of view, here we are all in the recession now, you think you're going to be paying $1.50 a bottle for this stuff, which you actually get I don't know, how many is that, 10ml bottle, probably the same as a Tamiya, 10ml bottle. You get a little bit more in here, but obviously don't forget you thin this sort of 50-50 every time, so actually getting 20ml, and obviously you're going to be paying £1.75 I think it is for these now. So cost effectiveness is probably better to go for the actual guns. Now I know what you're going to say, now you need thinners as well, so yeah, I'd probably. But as I say, so that we got there, Tamiya's underneath, really mainstay. The reason I like Tamiya's is they work every time. Drawback to it is modern colours, and obviously as you know I'm really a modern sort of, you know, model maker with modern aircraft. Don't do many of our colours, so unfortunately they don't do things like light and dark ghost grey. You can roughly get away with it by using XF19, things like that, but it's not spot on, whereas guns really got everything covered, so it's quite nice. So that's why I keep the Tamiyas. I've had them donkey's years now. Obviously my wash down there at the end. Down here's all my assorted bits and pieces. I've got thinners, Mr. Thinner 110, which is obviously acrylic. Don't put the 400 series with that, otherwise it goes horrible. Tacky glue I used to use all the time, but I must admit I do prefer gator glue now for doing clear parts, canopies, bits and pieces like that. This is my version of sort of Mr. Surfacer, if you like. It's with one where you mix. I usually just put a bit of putty in there and thin it with cellulose thinners. Works very well. A flat base mix that I've made myself, which is just clear and a bit of X21 flat base. Don't really like it, you know, I might as well stick with what I know, which for that type of thing I like to use the extra acrylics flat. Working away, cotton buds, obviously washing, canopies, bits and pieces, fantastic thing to have. Micro set and sole, obviously again really bit of a must. Super glues, I put mine, I always decant mine into a bottle, and then I can put a cocktail stick in it and do it with a cocktail stick. And obviously kicker I've got there on the go. What else have we got? Drop of IPA, which is 95% alcohol thing. Very great. Don't put it with Valeros, it doesn't like it, but you can thin other things. Really, I tend to use it 9 times out of 10. One for a deep clean for the airbrush. If I've been spraying horribles through it, I'll give it a blast through of IPA because it does like it. So I do things like that. Clear, we've got just down here, just behind really, because we're getting into the spray booth. Assorted paintbrushes. I don't have expensive paintbrushes at all. In fact, mine are awful. Really ought to get some more at some point. And bits and pieces like that. Over here, we just switch around. I've got